imagine that the tiny peppercorns found on dining tables every day could become one of the most expensive and famous spices in the world. But in southern Cambodia, there is a special variety known as Kampot pepper that has top chefs and food lovers around the world willing to spend tens, even hundreds of dollars for just 1 kilogram. Unlike ordinary black pepper sold in mass markets, Kampot pepper is often called the champagne of the pepper world because of its incredibly rich, powerful, and complex flavor. People describe it as spicy yet fragrant, with unique notes of fruit, citrus, and herbs that are almost impossible to find anywhere else. What makes it even more remarkable is that this pepper can only be grown in a few small regions of southern Cambodia to officially carry the name Kampot pepper. Its rarity, combined with an extremely strict production process, has turned it into one of the most expensive peppers on the planet. But what truly makes Kampot pepper different is not just its flavor, it's the way it is produced. Behind every single peppercorn is a long and careful process that follows incredibly strict standards. On farms in southern Cambodia, farmers still rely heavily on traditional hand farming methods. The pepper vines can grow more than 5 meters tall, climbing wooden poles under the intense tropical heat. When harvest season begins, workers must pick each cluster of peppercorns by hand instead of using machines like many large-scale farms around the world. What makes the process even more unique is that not all peppercorns can be harvested at the same time. Green peppercorns are picked early for their fresh and vibrant flavor, while others are left to ripen longer on the vine. As they mature, they develop deeper and more complex flavors, eventually becoming premium red or white pepper. It is this patience and careful timing that create the extraordinary quality that has turned Kampot pepper into a luxury spice recognized around the world. However, maintaining the reputation of Kampot pepper requires Cambodian farmers to follow an incredibly strict set of rules that not everyone can handle. Farms that want to sell their product under the official name Kampot pepper must use natural fertilizers and keep harmful chemicals to an absolute minimum. Even a small violation of the standards can result in losing certification immediately. And once that happens, the value of an entire harvest can drop dramatically. Because of this, every harvest season becomes a major gamble for pepper-growing families. Too much rain, sudden pests, or a slowdown in market demand can wipe out a large portion of their profits after months of exhausting work. Yet, despite these challenges, many farmers continue dedicating their lives to the craft because they believe Kampot pepper is more than just a spice. It is a source of pride for the entire region. If you're also surprised that a type of pepper can be this rare and valuable, comment number 1 and continue exploring the fascinating journey behind Cambodia's most famous peppercorns. After being harvested, the journey of Kampot pepper is still far from over. In fact, this is the stage that determines the final quality of this expensive spice. At the farms, workers spend hours carefully sorting each peppercorn by color and ripeness. Any peppercorns that are damaged or fail to meet the standards are completely removed. The peppers are then washed and spread evenly across raised drying racks under natural sunlight. During this process, their colors slowly transform from green to yellow and eventually deep red. Each type of pepper develops its own unique flavor profile. Black pepper delivers a bold heat and strong aroma. Red pepper is slightly sweet with fruity notes, while white pepper is considered the most difficult to produce because it must be boiled and then carefully peeled by hand to remove the outer skin completely. It is this incredible level of care and craftsmanship that makes Kampot pepper more than just a seasoning. It is almost treated like a premium handcrafted product of Cambodia. Kampot pepper is no longer famous only among chefs, it is also becoming a new tourism symbol of Cambodia. Many large farms now welcome visitors to experience the entire production process, from the lush green pepper fields to the traditional drying and processing areas. Some farms even organize tasting sessions similar to wine tastings, where guests can sample different varieties of pepper and discover the unique differences in aroma, flavor, and heat. What surprises many first-time visitors is that they never imagined pepper could have such a complex taste. The growing number of tourists is also giving many farmers an additional source of income beyond simply selling raw peppercorns. However, Behind this growth lies significant pressure. Small family farms must compete with larger companies that have far stronger international export networks and marketing power. And because of that, the future of many small pepper-growing households remains uncertain and fragile. Even though Kampot pepper is sold at very high prices, it still faces a major problem that many people outside the industry never hear about. The market is not always stable. In some years, production increases significantly while international tourism and export orders suddenly decline, leaving many farmers unable to sell all of their harvest. Some families are even forced to sell their pepper below market value, simply to recover costs after an exhausting harvest season. What's especially interesting is that Kampot pepper represents only a very small portion of Cambodia's total pepper production. Yet the economic value it generates is far greater than ordinary pepper. That is why many farming families continue holding on despite growing competition and financial pressure. For them, pepper farms are not just a source of income, they are a family legacy passed down through generations. And perhaps that is exactly what makes Kampot pepper more special than almost any other pepper in the world. If you'd like to continue exploring unique harvest stories like this one, comment number 1 below. What surprises many people is that the history of Kampot pepper almost disappeared completely. During the turbulent Khmer Rouge period in the 1970s, many pepper farms across Cambodia were abandoned. Countless families were forced to leave their homes or give up the pepper-growing traditions that had been passed down for generations. At one point, people believed this famous spice might disappear forever from the world's culinary map. But after years of hardship, a number of farming families returned and began growing pepper again using the few surviving vines that remained. They rebuilt everything almost from nothing. It was this determination and resilience that helped Kampot pepper make a remarkable comeback in recent years. From producing only a few dozen tons per year, Kampot pepper is now exported around the world and served in many high-end restaurants. Yet despite its international success, many local families still see every harvest season as more than just business. They see it as a way to preserve their history, culture, and family traditions for future generations. Today, when people visit the Kampot pepper farms in southern Cambodia, many feel as if they've stepped into a completely different world. Tall green pepper vines stretch endlessly beneath the tropical sun, while a light, spicy aroma drifts through the air. During harvest season, the farms become busy from early morning until sunset. Workers move carefully along the rows, selecting only the pepper clusters that have reached the perfect stage of ripeness. Unlike many modern agricultural industries around the world, there are no massive machines or highly automated production lines here. Almost every step of the process is still done by hand, relying heavily on the farmer's experience and traditional knowledge. And, ironically, that is exactly what makes Kampot pepper so unique compared to mass-produced pepper from other regions. But behind the peaceful scenery lies constant pressure from unpredictable weather, fluctuating prices, and export market demands. A single failed harvest can cost many families most of their yearly income. And that is why every harvest season in Kampot carries not only hard work, but also enormous hope for the future. What's fascinating is that even though Kampot pepper is extremely expensive, its global production remains very small compared to ordinary pepper. Each year, Cambodia can only produce a limited amount because the entire growing and harvesting process takes a tremendous amount of time and effort. And ironically, that rarity is exactly what has made this pepper so famous in the world of fine dining. Many luxury restaurants across Europe and Asia are willing to pay premium prices just to secure the highest quality batches. Some chefs even describe Kampot pepper as the diamond of the spice world. They use it very carefully to preserve its unique aroma, something they believe no other pepper can truly replace. But for the farmers in Cambodia, the greatest value of Kampot pepper may not be the money it brings in. It is also the pride of knowing that a product from their homeland is now recognized and respected around the world. If you'd love to try this famous pepper someday, comment number 1 below. As the sun slowly sets behind the pepper fields of Kampot, the atmosphere on the farms begins to calm after a long harvest day. Baskets filled with freshly picked peppercorns are carried into the processing areas, while the sound of workers talking drifts through the air mixed with the light, spicy aroma of pepper. It is a moment that makes many people realize that behind these tiny peppercorns lies an entire system of hard work passed down through generations. From caring for each pepper vine and monitoring soil quality to hand harvesting and carefully sorting every batch, every stage requires incredible patience and dedication. And perhaps that is exactly what transformed Kampot pepper from an ordinary spice into one of the most special symbols of Cambodian agriculture. Even though the market still faces many uncertainties, the farmers here continue tending their pepper fields the same way their families have for decades. For them, every harvest season is more than just work, it is a way of preserving the culture, history, and identity of their homeland. And perhaps the most remarkable thing about Kampot pepper is that it is not created by massive factories or the world's most advanced technology. The true value of this pepper comes from the hands and experience of farmers who have lived and worked on this land for generations. They understand every small change in the weather, know the exact moment when the peppercorns reach perfect ripeness, and patiently care for each vine for months at a time. In a world where most food is now mass-produced by machines, Kampot pepper stands out because it has preserved its traditional, handcrafted methods almost completely unchanged. And perhaps that is exactly why many famous chefs are willing to pay such high prices to use it in their signature dishes. Even though the future still brings many challenges involving markets and competition, the pepper fields of southern Cambodia continue to survive as a rare symbol of persistence, craftsmanship, and genuine quality. Over time, Kampot pepper has grown far beyond being just an agricultural product of Cambodia. Today, it is a name recognized in fine dining restaurants around the world. From Europe to Asia, more and more chefs are turning to this pepper to create dishes with deeper and more distinctive flavors. Some even believe that adding just a small amount of Kampot pepper can completely transform the aroma of an entire dish. That alone shows that the true value of this spice is not about quantity, but about the quality and uniqueness it brings. Yet behind its global reputation is still the simple daily life of farming families in southern Cambodia. Every day, they continue caring for their pepper vines under the tropical sun, hoping the next harvest season will be better than the last. And perhaps it is exactly this simplicity and dedication that make Kampot pepper far more special than products mass-produced by modern industrial systems. And as the harvest season slowly comes to an end, the lush green pepper fields of Kampot begin to grow quiet again after months of non-stop activity. The drying racks under the sun gradually empty, while sacks of finished pepper are prepared for shipment to countries around the world. But behind these tiny peppercorns lies much more than the story of an expensive spice. It is also a story of history, resilience, and the way Cambodian farmers have preserved a traditional product through decades of change and hardship. From nearly disappearing completely to becoming one of the world's most famous peppers, Kampot pepper has proven that true value is not about quantity, it is about quality, identity, and authenticity that cannot be replaced. And perhaps after watching this video, you'll never look at the pepper on your dining table the same way again. If you enjoy unique harvest journeys like this one, comment number 1 and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring more fascinating agricultural stories from around the world.